In 340 AD, an African empire officially held more power than Rome, and a Persian emperor listed them among the four greatest kingdoms on earth. You never learned this in school. There's a reason, and that reason isn't ignorance. It's deliberate. What was buried about Aksum doesn't just fill a gap in your education. It changes everything you think you know about civilization itself. The Aksumite Empire rose in the highlands of what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea. Not a regional power, a superpower. From the 1st century AD to the 7th, it controlled the most valuable trade corridor in the ancient world, the Red Sea. Every shipment of gold, ivory, silk, and spice moving between Rome and India passed through Aksumite hands. Their currency circulated on 3 continents. They built stone towers 40 meters tall that still stand today. They had an alphabet, a legal code, a navy, a church. And they were minting coins with Christian crosses on them before the Roman Empire made Christianity legal. That last detail should stop you. In 312 AD, Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity. Historians call it one of the most consequential moments in world history. It's in every textbook. The moment Rome became Christian. But there's a problem with that story. King Ezana of Aksum converted around 325 AD, the same decade. Some historians put Aksum's official conversion before Rome's. Either way, a powerful African empire was simultaneously becoming the first Christian state in world history. And Aksum didn't convert quietly. They put crosses on their coins. They built churches. They sent missionaries. Their version of the Bible, the Ethiopian canon, contains 81 books. The standard Protestant Bible has 66. 15 books that billions of Christians have never read. Books that were removed, that were suppressed, and nobody teaches who made that decision or why, but that's not even the strangest part. In 615 AD, the Prophet Muhammad watched his first followers being hunted through the streets of Mecca. They were going to die, so he sent them somewhere safe, not to Persia, not to Rome, to Aksum. The Christian king of Aksum, the Negus, took them in, protected them, refused to hand them over when Meccan emissaries arrived demanding their return. He listened to their scripture, wept, and told them they could stay. The first Muslim community in history survived because a Christian African emperor protected them. Without Aksum, there is no early Islamic community, no expansion. The entire trajectory of world religion altered by a decision made in an African kingdom your history class never once mentioned. Now stop. Think about what you were taught about Africa in the ancient world. Primitive, pre-literate. Waiting for outside contact to develop civilization. That's the story. That's always been the story. And here sits an empire minting gold coins, raising 40-meter stone monuments, holding diplomatic relationships with Rome and Persia and India simultaneously, shaping the birth of Islam, housing the oldest surviving Christian tradition on earth, and it's nowhere. Not in your textbooks, not in your curriculum, not in the documentaries. You didn't just accidentally not learn this. Someone decided what got taught. And when you start asking why Africa's greatest empire was erased this completely, you run straight into something that makes historians very uncomfortable. The 19th century, that's where the answer lives. Between 1880 and 1914, European powers divided Africa among themselves, the scramble for Africa. In less than 3 decades, 90% of the continent passed under European control. Britain, France, Belgium, Italy, Germany. To justify it, they needed a story. The story was this: Africa had no history worth preserving, no advanced civilizations, no written languages, no empires, a blank continent waiting for European governance to lift it into modernity. That story was not accidental, it was manufactured. When Great Zimbabwe was discovered, a medieval stone city of extraordinary sophistication, European scholars spent decades insisting it must have been built by Phoenicians, Arabs, anyone but Africans. Aksum got the same treatment. The stelae were too massive to deny, but the context was stripped away. The trade networks, the political power, the religious influence, the role in shaping both Christianity and Islam, gone, reduced to a footnote about obelisks. Colonial powers needed Africa to be empty, because if Africa had empires as powerful as Rome, then what they took looks different. It looks like what it was. This isn't a story about one forgotten empire. This is about how history gets written, and who writes it. Every major Western historical narrative was codified in the 19th and early 20th centuries, the exact same decades Europeans were dividing the world between themselves. The exact same decades they needed a justification. You don't have to call it a conspiracy. Just ask, who benefits from a version of history where Africa produced nothing of consequence? Then ask what else is missing. Because if Aksum, an empire that shaped Christianity, protected Islam, rivaled Rome, and built monuments still standing today, got buried this completely, what didn't even make it to a footnote? There's a small church in Aksum, Ethiopia. One room, no cameras, no visitors allowed, no exceptions. A single monk guards it, lives inside it, and will die there. He says the Ark of the Covenant is inside. No outside verification has ever been permitted. Why is that still the rule?